Part 67. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 664. A group of command ships sailed smoothly on the sea, and around it, there were ship girls in strict formation. This team is the Qin-Ge fleet that set off to find the Siren stronghold after wiping out the agents from the location of the Uloli fleet. We finally got rid of it. There were a lot of sirens along the way, North Carolina said with a sigh of relief. Hey, I want to fight more. I finally advanced with the large army, and it turned out to be much more efficient than our small team. Washington turned around and said. Haha, Washington really loves fighting at this time. California, not far away, laughed, but I think there is no need to stick to these siren fleets now. As we get closer and closer to the Siren stronghold, there will be more enemies waiting for us. North Carolina nodded. California is right. Although we have passed through the attack zone of the Siren fleet, what we have to face next is the defenders in the Siren stronghold. There are so many Siren strongholds in our area of Guam alone. I believe there will be many more Siren strongholds here in Donghuang. Haha. You all are really in a good mood here, but I think what deserves our more attention now is the matter of the Arbiter. Dean Prince of Wales said to everyone through the communicator. Although the Prince of Wales is the Dean of the Commander Academy and was Qin-Ge's former immediate boss, everyone is currently in a cooperative state, so she keeps her profile low. Actually, we don't need to pay too much attention to the Arbiters. We have encountered each other before, and their power is too powerful. We can't compete now. Because when the time comes, we are the only ones who can truly face the Arbiter in a direct battle, the awakened ship girls. You will know the specific attack effect when the time comes, which will make people feel a little desperate. Veneto smiled. Despair, Mikasa was a little confused. Yes, when we faced off against the Arbiter, we were unable to move under her pressure. The first one to leave was New Jersey, but his counterattack was blocked by the Arbiter at the time with a wave of his hand. We were about to fight, but suddenly another Arbiter appeared. It seemed that he had found something, and the two of them left the sea area at that time. Otherwise, we would definitely suffer heavy losses. Kauki explained to Mikasa. So powerful, Anshin and Changchun were also stunned. After all, based on the battle just now, they already had an idea of the strength of Qin-Ge's fleet girls. In one-on-one combat, neither of them would be afraid of the ship girls of Qin-Ge's fleet, but if it came to tactical alliances, they would most likely not win in a two-on-one battle. Such a fleet, even though it was full, was helpless against the Arbiter. The strength of the Arbiter surprised the two people in Anshin. Then how are we going to defeat them? The Prince of Wales asked quickly. We have a method, but we don't know whether that method will be effective, so we can only fight with the mentality of giving it a try. All in all, this is a battle that must be experienced, and we are ready. Even if that method is useless, we intend to confront the Arbiter head-on. The battle we met last time was not over yet, and it was still unclear who would stand to the end. Enterprise said to the Prince of Wales. Haha, I thought Qin-Ge was fully prepared, but I didn't expect that you guys would still fight with the mentality of giving it a try. It's really exciting. But you are right, this is a battle that must be experienced. This battle determines the fate of the Donghuang and Chongying camps. None of us can retreat, because we are almost the last hope. Mikasa smiled. Haha, I believe there will be no problem. After all, I am the strongest and largest black dragon of White Eagle. Together with everyone, we will definitely usher in victory and freedom, New Jersey said with a smile at this time. Hee hee. Listening to the people talking and laughing on the communicator, Jinhai smiled and looked up at Qin-Ge. It seems that everyone is very confident. This is a good thing. What does the commander think? The corners of Qin-Ge's lips raised slightly and he looked at the sea in front of him. Veneto is right, we have to face this battle no matter what. Whether we are worried or confident, we have to fight. Rather than being like this, it is better to be happy and confident. The only regret is that there is too little time left for us. If the time is longer, we will be more sure. Every time a disaster strikes, we don't give people too much warning time. We have been fully prepared within the time we can control. However, this time the disaster came too suddenly, and it was not possible at all. We can't imagine it, Jinhai said to Qin Ji. Indeed, Qin Ji nodded. By the way, if we maintain this speed, how long will it take to reach the scheduled destination? The current average speed of the fleet is 24 knots. After all, we have to take care of the speed of some capital ships. If we don't encounter battles on the way, we can reach our destination in 10 minutes in the middle of the night. If we encounter battles, it may take a little longer. However, I hope that the time can be extended to arrive at the destination tomorrow morning. After all, at that time, the aircraft carrier and battleship will have sufficient visibility, and it will be easier to fight. Jinhai replied. Qin Ji touched his chin. Just continue driving at this speed, and let the aircraft carrier ladies take turns to release the carrier-based aircraft to explore the sector area ahead. If we find a siren stronghold, we will be farther away by then and repair it in place. Wait for daylight to come before fighting. Okay, then I'll make arrangements right away, Jinhai said quickly. Seeing Jinhai quickly arranging the notification, Qin Ji smiled. It was nice to have such a person by his side. In fact, before Qin Ji issued this order, aircraft carriers had already released carrier-based aircraft to patrol in the air. However, this time the emphasis was on having all aircraft carriers grouped into groups to conduct large-scale and long-term patrols. Therefore, the entire fleet was implemented very quickly. Under the leadership of the Enterprise and Guanghui, it was quickly divided into 3 groups to ensure that each group had an awakened ship girl. This way of taking turns could not only ensure efficiency but also allow others have time to rest. In this way, everyone moved towards the target location, and there were naturally several encounters with the Siren fleet on the way. And each Siren fleet was large in number, but faced with the fleet now commanded by Qin Ji, they were quickly wiped out. When the carrier-based aircraft of Enterprise and others discovered the Siren stronghold, it was already early in the morning. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 665. As a wisp of fish-belly white appeared in the distant sky, a large group of carrier-based aircraft took advantage of this moment of transition between light and dark and flew across the sky. After a short rest, the attack on the Siren stronghold was officially launched with an order from Qin Ji. The fleet quickly approached the Siren stronghold on the sea, and the aircraft carrier mother released carrier-based aircraft, and with the sky about to light up, she began to assist the surface fleet from the air. Soon, the carrier-based aircraft accompanied the surface fleet and entered the Siren stronghold, cleaning up the Siren fleet encountered in the field of vision. Everyone cleaned up very quickly and at the same time very carefully. After all, the situation they encountered in the Siren stronghold in the waters of Guam is still vivid in their minds. They were a little worried that some agent would mix with the Siren fleet and carry out a surprise attack like the agents they encountered before. But what is surprising is that after clearing the Siren stronghold, there was no attack from any agents. Guarding the core of the Siren stronghold was a pair of Siren elite teams composed of enforcers. Such a team poses no threat to Qin Ji's fleet at all. Therefore, everyone cleared the Siren stronghold with almost no pressure. It's strange that there is no agent guarding this Siren stronghold, New Jersey said somewhat strangely after occupying the core of the stronghold. Maybe it's because there are so many agents on the Donghuang front line that there are no agents guarding the Siren stronghold, Penn said. It's very possible, but it's better for everyone to be careful. After all, the agent's attack power is quite strong. When we relax our vigilance, it may cause great trauma to us, the company said to everyone. Understood, New Jersey and the others nodded and said through the communicator. Helena, take a group of people into the core to search for the remaining items, and don't forget what the commander told you, Enterprise said to Helena. Understood, Helena responded immediately. The Prince of Wales and others naturally knew that there would be some technology left in the core of the Siren stronghold, so they naturally had no problem with Helena going in to search. After all, Qin Ji's family came here to support Dong Huang. It was right for them to get some loot after occupying the Siren stronghold. They came here just as temporary thugs, and the loot didn't matter to them. Just as Helena and others entered the core stronghold to search, the aircraft carrier girls of the fleet also released their carrier-based aircraft to conduct a large-scale search in the sea area, preparing to find the next Siren stronghold. Surprisingly, the search circle was not very large before we encountered the second or even third or fourth Siren stronghold. Unlike the Siren strongholds in Guam waters, the Siren strongholds here in Dong Huang are relatively dense. There are at least 5 Siren strongholds in just a small area of the sea. After learning about this situation, Enterprise and others quickly boarded Qin Ji's command ship and reported the situation to him. Well, it does look a bit weird. The Siren stronghold is so close, Qin Ji said, and couldn't help but touch his chin. Commander, you also know the situation in the Siren stronghold just now. The Siren stronghold in Dong Huang seems to be different from the Siren stronghold in our place. There is no agent here. Therefore, these Siren strongholds pose a very low threat to us. I think we can divide our forces into 2 groups to quickly clear out the 4 Siren strongholds we discovered, and then join together to explore new Siren strongholds. Enterprise said to Qin Ji. Qin Ji squinted his eyes, thought for a while and then shook his head. I don't agree with this suggestion. It is still the hinterland of the Siren. Although there are no elite Siren units such as agents found in this Siren stronghold, there is no one it can guarantee that there will be no agent in the next Siren stronghold. We must focus on safety now. Don't forget, there is an arbiter here. What if you encounter the arbiter at the next stronghold after dividing your troops? Even if you want to rescue, but the distance is relatively long, it will take a certain amount of time to arrive, which will cause unnecessary casualties. As soon as Qin Ji's words came out, all the ship girls gave up the idea of dividing their troops. As he said, dividing the troops can certainly improve the efficiency of the battle, but if an accident occurs, the error tolerance rate is very small compared to the entire fleet together. Understood, Commander. Helena and the others are currently collecting the relevant loot in the core of the Siren stronghold. We will continue to move forward after they return to the team. So which stronghold should be chosen as the next target to conquer? King George V said. The closest to this Siren stronghold, we must now be down to earth and step by step. We must not rush this kind of thing, Qin Ji said. Yes. Regarding Qin Ji's views, except for his own ship girl, other Mikasa and the Prince of Wales are very supportive. The battle in Dong Huang lasted for such a long time. Although they also hope to end the battle quickly, everything must be done in order. We are currently Dong Huang's only hope, and we must ensure that we can annihilate them stably before we take any action. It is very easy to cause problems if you advance rashly at this juncture. Next, everyone held a simple meeting about the battle just now. Qin Ji pointed out all the mistakes made in the cooperation between the ship girls, and arranged for the company Veneto and others to go back and notify them to prevent the next time the same situation continues to occur. This is also the reason why Qin Ji's fleet has been able to deal with the Siren strongholds and agents faster and faster so far. Reviewing and reflecting on the mistakes you have made in a timely manner and correcting them in the next battle will make your tactical coordination more and more perfect. After waiting for the meeting to end, Helena also completed the search inside the core. As expected, there is indeed a mysterious file here. But now is not the time to open the mysterious file. After Helena returns to the team, Qin Ji's fleet sets off again, heading towards the Siren stronghold closest to this Siren stronghold. Because the two Siren strongholds were relatively close, it didn't take long to reach the other Siren stronghold, and there was no blocking Siren fleet in the middle. Like the first Siren stronghold that was cleared before, this Siren stronghold only has a large number of mass-produced Siren fleets and enforcers, as well as fallen ship girls. No trace of agents was found, let alone arbiters. But Qin-Ji still didn't dare to relax, and he still followed the same method for the next third, fourth, and even fifth Siren strongholds, pushing them one by one. By the time the fifth Siren stronghold was eliminated, the sky became bright again. They had been fighting in the sea area for a whole day and night. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 666. How's it going, Enterprise? Did you find anything? Qin-Ji said to the Enterprise through a communicator with a somewhat tired spirit. After all, they conquered 5 Siren strongholds in a row and spent almost the whole day fighting besides rushing. Fortunately, at night, on the way to the 4th stronghold after conquering the 3rd stronghold, Jinhai urged Qin-Ji to take a nap, otherwise Qin-Ji would have become even more sleepy. Commander, there is no trace of the Siren stronghold here yet, but now we are launching a large-scale search, and I believe it will be found soon, the company replied to Qin-Ji. I understand, then please continue searching and report any information as soon as possible, Qin-Ji said. Received, but Commander, please take advantage of this period to take a break. If continuous Siren strongholds are searched later, we will face continuous battles. High-intensity battles like this will affect your health. Physically, Enterprise said to Qin-Ji. I know. If you continue to search, I will ask Jinhai to help keep an eye on it, Qin-Ji said. Yes. Then the two hung up the communicator, and just when Qin-Ji turned around, he saw Jinhai's eyes that were half smiling. Commander, I have heard everything you promised to the company, so go get some sleep now. You are not us. And don't say no after all. If our commander suddenly faints when facing the Arbiter, it will be a very devastating thing. You don't want this to happen, right? After hearing Jinhai's words, Qin-Ji knew that he couldn't refuse this time. Then he nodded and said, I'll lie down on the sofa here for a while. If anything happens, tell me quickly. Understood, Jinhai said with a smile. As a result, Qin-Ji fell asleep as soon as he lay down on the sofa. This made Jinhai feel distressed. He then opened the ship's space, took out a blanket from it, and put it on Qin-Ji's body. Then he walked to the communicator, took out the communicator and said, the commander has fallen asleep. He fell asleep as soon as he lay down on the sofa. He has been worrying about our battle for the past 2 days, and he has worked hard. That's good. Thank you, Jinhai. If you weren't here, the commander would definitely pretend to go to bed, the voice of the Enterprise sounded, with a clear look. It seemed that they had an agreement in private. Haha, after all, Commander's stubborn temper has lasted for more than a day or two. If I can't find a way to deal with him after such a long time, then I won't call him Jinhai, Jinhai said with a smile. Then please take care of the commander, and we will continue to search for the Siren stronghold, Enterprise replied. Well, let's take advantage of this period to resupply everyone and stay in the best condition, so that we can be more confident about the next battle, Jinhai said. New. After the two of them finished speaking, they hung up the communicator, and the company went to arrange her affairs. As for Jinhai, he came to the sofa, looking at Qin-Ji's sleeping face with a smile. By the time Qin-Ji woke up again, it was already noon. He opened his eyes suddenly, and the first thing he noticed was the blanket covering him. Then he looked around and saw Jinhai looking at him with a smile. Commander, if you wake up, you can still sleep for a while. We are still more than half an hour away from the next Siren stronghold, Jinhai said to Qin Ji. The next Siren stronghold. Obviously Qin Ji didn't expect to have found the next Siren stronghold, so he quickly rubbed his face with his hands, sobered up and asked quickly, "They have found the next Siren stronghold?" "Yet." Jinhai shook his head. "They found the Siren stronghold, but it was not one, but a whole area." One piece. Qin Ji was a little stunned. He couldn't understand what Jinhai meant by one piece. Jinhai stood up and walked towards the sea chart. Qin Ji immediately got up and followed Jinhai to the sea chart. "Commander, please look, the Siren stronghold that Enterprise and the others discovered is at this location." Jinhai pointed to a location in front of his fleet's cursor and said. According to their detection, almost all of the Siren strongholds within this location are, and a large number of Sirens are emerging from there and then heading in two different directions. The two different directions are Chongying and Donghuang, so we concluded that this area is the centralized base for attacking Donghuang and Chongying Siren. Jinhai said to Qin Ji. Qin Ji's brows suddenly wrinkled, and he asked Jinhai, "Have the company found out how many Siren strongholds there are here? Or maybe they have a rough number." "At least 20. Jinhai turned his head and looked at Qin Ji and replied. "Huh? No less than 20, are you kidding me?" Qin Ji said in surprise. "No, and we suspect that this Siren stronghold is just the focus of the attack on Chongying and Donghuang Siren strongholds. Because according to the coastline of Donghuang and the reports from Anshan and Changchun, there should be some scattered Siren strongholds similar to what we knew before." Jinhai said. "So there are no fewer than 25 Siren strongholds in the sea area, and there may even be more," Qin Ji said in surprise. "That's the truth." Jinhai nodded. "So now we are heading towards the concentration point. If we remove the Siren stronghold here together, it will definitely relieve the pressure on Donghuang and Chongying. They don't have to worry about the danger of being destroyed at any time." Qin Ji nodded, his eyes staring at the area Jinhai had pointed out before. "So it's very possible that the Arbiter is here." "Yes, if I have to choose a location, then this location is the most likely," Jinhai said. Qin Ji nodded. "Didn't Helena in another world give me a flame mark badge before? The company said it was a beacon mark. Please remind her that if you encounter special circumstances, don't hesitate to use it immediately." Jinhai smiled and said, "Commander, don't worry, we have had a brief discussion while you were asleep. We are going to send submarines and aircraft carrier reconnaissance aircraft to conduct intelligence reconnaissance in the air and sea areas. If we find anything unusual, we will immediately use a beacon mark. Because after using the beacon mark, even if there are reinforcements, they will not arrive here immediately. She has a certain amount of time." "Haha, since you have already discussed it, let's go according to your plan. The enemy we face this time is unknown and very powerful. Tactics will probably not have much effect in front of her, so use your shipgirl methods to defeat her." Qin Ji didn't look disappointed. He stretched out his arms and looked sideways at Jinhai. "Thank you, Commander, for your trust. We will definitely win. My ship girl, my world." Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 667. The target is entering the ocean. Haha, that's great. The stage has been set, let's let our future guardians see our combat power. Do you want to activate suppression mode? Activate, Ember's side is also ready. Since the last battle, although a lot of resentment has been eliminated in their hearts, they still can't let it go. Let this stage be our final battlefield. All the data has been stored in the host computer. There is a backup over there, so even if it's destroyed, it's completely fine. Clear. As Qin Ji's fleet slowly entered the target area, he was shocked by the sight in front of him. The pillars standing in the sea, holding up the sky, reflected the sea surface as red as a sea of blood. And next to these siren strongholds, barriers made of exposed rocks were erected abruptly from beneath the sea. Moreover, the color of these reefs is also deep red, and the sky is now foggy, making this situation look extremely strange. Although I have just seen such a scene in the sky with a carrier-based aircraft, it is completely different from watching it after getting close. Is this area the mirror area of the siren? The company said with some surprise. It is confirmed that it is not a mirror sea area. All communications are normal, the radar response is also completely normal, and there is no electromagnetic interference. This sea area is indeed a normal sea area. Helena, who was marching in front of the team, said in the communicator. Isn't it actually the mirror sea? This scene is really surprising, said the Prince of Wales. Originally, I thought this was a stronghold group with more than 20 siren strongholds, but now it seems that the situation here is not just a simple stronghold group, Enterprise said in surprise. Yes, I am more willing to believe that the sea area is a huge siren stronghold than a group of siren strongholds, Bunker Hill nodded and said. The opponent is the siren, so it's no surprise what kind of scene it creates, King George V said. The most important thing now is to find the Arbiter. She is the biggest hidden danger to us. If we find the Arbiter, we won't have time to worry about him during the battle with her. If a large number of siren warships appear at this time to surround us, the situation we will face at that time will be too passive. Mikasa he shook his head and expressed a different opinion. This is indeed a possibility. After all, we are now in the enemy's base camp. If we really fight, the situation will be difficult to say, Veneto agreed. So what kind of deployment are we going to make now? Do we want to alert the enemy? Anshin asked. Does Anshin think they don't know the situation when we come here, not far away? Aurora said seriously. Didn't the commander say so? Our actions have actually been under the control of others, so I think when we entered this area, they already knew our whereabouts very well. Aurora is right. Logically speaking, our planes have just detected so many siren fleets. They should be in a defensive posture to stop us now. But now, look around us, there is silence. Isn't that abnormal? Zara nodded and said. Now that the enemy has grasped our whereabouts, we don't have to think of other methods. Let's lure the snake out of the hole and attack openly, New Jersey said boldly. Haha, I have to admit that this method is the best now, Aurora said. Then that's it, all aircraft carriers take off carrier-based aircraft to conduct a large-scale search for the enemy. Since the enemy will not attack, then let us attack, New Jersey said. Clear. In the distance, on Chin Ji's command ship, he was standing there with his hands behind his back, listening to the voice of the ship's wife in the communicator, and looking around at the surrounding environment. What did the commander say about their decision? Jinhai asked from the side. A large-scale search like this will definitely arouse the anger of others. Chin Ji smiled and said, I said before that this battle will be left to you, and we will have a decisive battle in your favorite way, so I have no opinion on New Jersey's tactical execution. Haha, but Commander, your appearance has revealed your worries, Jinhai said with a smile. Chin Ji rolled his eyes. After all, it's a decisive battle now. How could I not be worried? And what you just asked was about tactics, and you didn't ask about my current mood. How is the commander's mood now? Jinhai asked with a smile. It's what I told you before. I'm more worried now, Chin Ji said, but I'm not worried about whether you will win this battle, but I am a little worried that this battle will cause everyone to be injured. Hearing Chin Ji's words, Jinhai's eyes softened. She stepped forward and took Chin Ji's arm. Commander, there are always sacrifices in battle. We have already realized this, so there is no need to worry. Just cheer for us. Chin Ji nodded. Although there are always sacrifices in battle, what a commander should do is to minimize the sacrifices. But don't worry, I will always stand behind you. While the two were talking, a large number of siren fleets suddenly appeared around the fleet. Those siren fleets seemed to appear out of thin air, and the originally empty sea suddenly became crowded. Stealth, New Jersey, as the flagship, couldn't help but glanced at the scene in front of him, but then shook his head. If it can be invisible, then there is no need to fight. Is it optical camouflage? Whether she is invisible or optically camouflaged, the enemy has appeared now and our battle has begun, King George V said. New Jersey nodded, then waved his hand. Everyone, level 1 combat readiness. We're about to go. Suddenly, the sound of naval guns roared, and the carrier-based aircraft that had been released earlier also formed a formation and turned back. At this moment, a full-scale battle began. The sky-wide barrage and artillery fire reflected the gray sky exceptionally brilliantly. As those barrages and artillery fire fell, rows of siren mass-produced warships erupted into sky-high flames and smoke, and then slowly of overturning. The vanguard girls who were closest to the siren mass-produced battleship had also rushed to the battleship. A row of torpedoes were released in the water, with rapid waves, and they quickly collided with the mass-produced battleship. Past. Even though the sudden appearance of these mass-produced warships put Qin Ji's fleet into a siege, with their training and usual cooperation, such an siege did not pose any threat to Qin Ji's fleet. On the contrary, because the siren fleet appeared too close together, all the ship girls did not need to take aim seriously. As long as they fired in the direction of the siren, they would definitely hit a random siren target. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 668. As time passed, the siren fleet surrounding Qin Ji's fleet gradually decreased. However, at this time, New Jersey did not look happy, but looked around with a worried face. Not far away, Tennessee saw New Jersey's appearance and asked, "What's wrong?" New Jersey, with such a distraught look, cannot be a qualified flagship. New Jersey didn't pay attention to Tennessee's tone, but said to her with a solemn face, "Have you ever felt that there is a line of sight that has been watching us?" Sight. Tennessee looked around, his eyes filled with the wreckage of the siren fleet on the sea and the fighting ship girls. "I haven't felt it yet." "Are you overthinking it?" "Impossible, I feel it. It has been watching us since the beginning of the war." New Jersey shook his head and said. Hearing New Jersey's affirmative answer, Tennessee couldn't help but frown. "Is it the Arbiter?" "I don't know, maybe it is, maybe it's not," New Jersey said. "Does the business need to be notified to activate that badge?" Tennessee asked. "It is not necessary for the time being. We have not confirmed that there is an Arbiter in the sea area, and we have not definitely fought with the Arbiter. Using the last resort before the critical moment will destroy the confidence of our fleet." New Jersey shaked his head. Indeed, Tennessee looked at the siren fleet in the distance. "In addition, there are very few sirens now. I think we can explore deeper. To be on the safe side, let's clear out the sirens here before advancing. We can't leave hidden dangers behind us. After all, the commander's command ship is still following us," New Jersey said. "Clear." The brief conversation did not affect the attack of the two. Although New Jersey had many doubts in her heart, the look she felt so far was not malicious, so she let it go. On the stone wall in the distance, several figures were standing here, their pitch-black shirts swaying in the wind as the sea breeze blew. Everyone's eyes revealed a sharp gaze, and it felt like ordinary people would freeze in place with fear just by looking at them. "That's White Eagle's New Jersey, right? I feel really sharp. Although the world I live in does not have classifications such as maritime legends and ultra-rare, New Jersey is still very powerful. As White Eagle's most cutting-edge battleship, even if it has just obtained ship qualifications, it has already shown that it is beyond ordinary people. Strength. Speaking of which, how much do you know about the numbered world? I remember that the gentleman was also in the numbered world at the beginning, right? The numbered world is actually the difference between us and Antix. Replacement. At the beginning, Antics used Rubik's Cube energy to forcefully establish singularities leading to other timelines, dividing the world where the company is located into many parallel worlds. It's like summoning us again as a ship. However, such research was not comprehensive for them, so they used the Laplace demon to create countless numbered worlds outside of many timelines. These numbered worlds all have one characteristic, which is to allow countless forgeries to be born in them while maintaining the basic alignment. And they can all find their own commanders and try out how powerful humans and ship girls can be when they work together. I see. No wonder you are not interested in the numbered world. But all this will soon become history. Once the Guardian plan is completed, there will no longer be such boring battles. Is there really going to be no fighting? Will not. Are you so sure about the company? Did that adult say something to you? That's why the Lord asked us to implement this plan. There is no peace in the universe, and even that Lord cannot interfere with the process of the universe. Interesting, but then we will be fighting for our own survival, right? That kind of battle is quite meaningful, at least not like before. Battles in space, unknown enemies, suddenly feel very interesting. Those things will have to wait until later. Our most important task at the moment is to complete this plan. Helena, you gave our Ember Mark to Commander Shinji, but what if he doesn't need it by then? He will use it, and even if he doesn't use it, it will not affect our direct participation in the war. Yes, at most it's the same as Nizanov. But isn't Nizanov too proactive? As soon as he saw Bismarck, he couldn't help but take the initiative to contact him. After all, Bismarck is the most respected person in Nizanov. I believe that Ark Royal will become proactive when you see the destroyer, right? Ahem, don't you think that protecting your companions is a matter of course, especially when the target is to expel your sisters? Tisk, you really haven't forgotten your original intention. Why are there so few expelled sisters in our organization? Those who can survive such a cruel battle are not cute at all. Ah! Stop talking, they're starting to move. As the figure standing at the top said something, the chatter stopped immediately. It became quiet again here, only the sound of the sea breeze blowing through the clothes was left. As the cold voice said, Shinji's fleet began to move after clearing the surrounding sirens. Their destination was the deepest part of the sea. Along the way, the siren fleet was like a tide, swarming towards them one after another. As the strength of the ship girls increases, attacks like the sirens can only slow down their progress and cannot pose a threat to their entirety. But even so, the waves of siren fleets like a tidal wave also made Shinji's ship girls extremely annoyed. These siren fleets are really troublesome. Although our fleet can handle them, if they keep coming like this and they are consumed, our supplies will not be able to keep up, Qai said with a pout. After all, she controls the carrier-based aircraft and has a larger field of vision, so she has a clearer understanding of the situation of the siren fleet. Haha, it's not that scary. Look further away. The siren fleet there is already relatively sparse. So as long as we persist a little longer, we can clear out the sirens here, Shengli said to Qai with a smile. Don't let down your guard. Maybe the moment the siren fleet is cleared, there will be a more difficult battle waiting for us, Guanghui heard the two sisters say. I know, Sister Guanghui, Qai quickly replied. Haha, don't be so nervous, the commander is always behind us, come on, Guanghui said with a smile. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 669. As the aerial bombs fell, the last batch of Siren mass-produced warships were blown to pieces. Flames filled the sky, mixed with billowing smoke, and the firelight reflected the sea into a sea of fire. Looking around, under the gloomy sky, There are burning fires everywhere, the wreckage of sunken battleships and the corpses of executioners floating on the sea are everywhere, making this area like purgatory. Although this was not the first time Shinji had seen such a situation, he had never experienced such a deadly fight before, and the command ship passing through the sea of fire gave people a completely different feeling. "Commander, the Siren mass-produced battleships have been cleared. Do you want to continue moving forward?" The voice of New Jersey appeared on the communicator, which turned Shinji's attention back from the purgatory next to him. "This time you are the flagship of the fleet, and I will leave this battle to you. You can just discuss what to do next," Shinji said to the communicator. I'm used to asking the commander for instructions, but I forgot about this discussion for a while." Hearing Shinji's words, New Jersey couldn't help but laugh awkwardly. "But I still want to ask the commander, if you command this battle, should you choose to move forward or explore the surrounding situation?" Hearing New Jersey's question again, Shinji couldn't help but smile. "If I were to direct this battle, then I would choose to temporarily stop the advance for combat supplies, and then let the aircraft carrier-based aircraft conduct sea exploration. After all, there has just been a big battle, and your oil and emergency repair tools should be in short supply. In addition to the long-term battle, even if you ship girls do not need to eat, if you eat, it will adjust the morale of the entire fleet. Allowing the fleet aircraft carrier to conduct a large-scale airspace search can not only obtain intelligence from other places, but also discover some hidden crises, and then decide the direction of our next action. Then I will make arrangements according to the commander's suggestion," New Jersey said happily. "This," Shinji said in a dumbfounded voice, "didn't we agree to solve it the way you ship girls do? What's the difference between this and my command? The way of our ship girls is the way of our fleet, and the way of our fleet is the way of the commander, so there is no difference," New Jersey said with a smile. "Commander, take advantage of this time to rest and eat some more. Let me go down and make arrangements. The communication is over." Shinji looked at the hung-up communicator and couldn't help but shook his head. This made Jinhai on the side laugh and say, "Haha, isn't this what the commander expected to see?" Although this battle was prepared using the ship girls method, as New Jersey said, we have been familiar with the commander's method since our birth, so our method is also the commander's method. Shinji touched his nose and said, "Okay, now we are making a big fuss here, and it depends on the other party's reaction. If there is really an arbiter in the sea area, I believe she will appear soon. In front of us. Well, no agent has appeared so far, but if one appears, we should use that beacon immediately," Jinhai nodded. "Indeed, these are just appetizers now, and the next arbiter is the key," Shinji nodded. "Haha, Commander, let's have an appetizer too. What do you want to eat? Although the conditions are relatively simple now, you can still make some simple things," Jinhai said with a smile. "Ha, there's nothing picky about this. I'll eat whatever Jinhai wants," Shinji said naturally without any hesitation. "Okay, Commander, just sit there and rest for a while." After Jinhai finished speaking, he walked towards the kitchen. At this time, many aircraft carrier ladies were operating carrier-based aircraft to patrol the sea area. Independence from Beijing is also one of them, but she is now encountering a situation, because after her carrier-based aircraft went to a relatively wide sea area, it fell downwards uncontrollably. When she controlled the carrier-based aircraft and began to climb, she felt the strangeness of this power. The maneuvers became increasingly difficult, and although the carrier-based aircraft began to rise, it was done with much greater force than usual. So, independently went against the norm and flew the carrier-based aircraft directly towards the sea area she longed for. She wanted to see what was weird about the sea area. But when she turned the nose of the carrier-based aircraft to fly downward, she felt that the carrier-based aircraft was being dragged upward by a force, as if the influence of gravity had changed in the sea area. Independent frowned. Under such gravity, it would be very tiring to use carrier-based aircraft to explore the sea area. It was better to report it directly to New Jersey and ask her to arrange destroyers and light cruisers to explore the sea area. So Independence said in the communicator while recovering the carrier-based aircraft, "Report, this is Independence. During the exploration, we found an unknown sea area. There seems to be a problem with the airspace gravity of the sea area. Please send a surface fleet to investigate. Received, this is New Jersey. I will send someone there immediately. Please guide them independently." New Jersey's voice appeared in the communicator and said very quickly, "Roger, end of communication." New Jersey on the other side had just hung up the Independent communication, and the company on the side looked at her. What did Independent discover? Independence said that when she was exploring unknown sea areas, she discovered a strange sea area. There seemed to be a problem with the airspace gravity of that sea area. She asked me to send a surface fleet over to take a look, New Jersey said. Is that so? Enterprise nodded. How about I lead the team there? Any abnormality at this time may hide a huge crisis. Therefore, those who are not awakening ship girls should try to stay with the main force. Understood. In this case, why not bring the awakened ship girls from Royal and Donghuang, so that when encountering danger, you will also have the ability to fight back, New Jersey said. Understood, then just wait for our news. Enterprise nodded towards New Jersey and said. Please, Jersey said with a smile. Yeah, Enterprise nodded and glided out directly, constantly saying something into the communicator during the process. After that, only the glory of the royal family was seen. The monarch, King George V, Belfast, Javelin, Mikasa, Prince of Wales, Anshan, Changchun, and others slipped out of the fleet and, together with the Enterprise, slid towards the distance. Go. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 670. A group of people traveled for a short time and then followed the Independent carrier-based aircraft to the sea area. Looking at the sea that was no different from before, the Prince of Wales said doubtfully, Is this the sea? It doesn't look like anything special. I just said independently that the gravity here is very strange, Enterprise said to everyone. If it's gravity, it will definitely affect the trajectory of the cannonball, so give it a try, Mikasa said. Then he moved his turret and fired a shot at a distant location. Everyone immediately followed Mikasa's cannonball with their eyes and observed the changes. The cannonball, dragging fire in the air, drew a beautiful arc and landed on the sea in the distance. It seemed to be an extremely smooth test, but it made all the ship girls frown. It's strange. Even though there was no sea breeze, the trajectory of the cannonball in the air was distorted, causing the impact point to become closer, the Prince of Wales said with a frown. Mikasa, use the same position and the same angle to fire another shot. See if there is any change in this shot, Aurora said to Mikasa. No problem, Mikasa nodded quickly, and after waiting for the reloading to be completed, she immediately fired again. But this time when the cannonball landed in the sea with a graceful arc, everyone was even more surprised, because when Mikasa didn't change the position or angle at all, the cannonball landed farther away. What's going on? The same cannonball fired at the same angle actually landed significantly further away, the monarch asked in surprise. It seems that it is not wrong to independently say that there is an abnormal gravity problem in the sea area. Such a gravity problem not only changes the impact point of the artillery shells, but also changes the flight attitude of the carrier-based aircraft, Enterprise nodded. Since the situation of the cannonballs has been changed, will our ship girls be affected in such an important way? Huang Hui asked doubtfully. If you want to know this problem, then let's try it, King George V said. I agree. Everyone should be vigilant around each other, enter the sea area, and accurately grasp the information in the sea area, the company said seriously. Good. Everyone did what they said, with Belfast, Javelin, Changchun, Anshan and others as the forward flanks, and entered the sea in a 3-3 formation. Sure enough, The moment everyone stepped into the sea, a strange feeling appeared on them. At one moment I felt light and airy, and at the next I felt very heavy, as if the gravity of this area had been distorted. Sure enough, the gravity of this area has been changed. Sometimes the gravity becomes heavier, and sometimes it becomes lighter. This also explains why the cannonballs just flew to a different landing point, the Prince of Wales said. Gravity caused the abnormal trajectory of the cannonball, which can be explained, but why does the gravity of the sea area change? Guanghui asked. Under the natural state, gravity cannot change for no reason. I am afraid that it is probably the device deployed by the siren in the sea that is causing trouble, the monarch replied. It's basically certain. According to past experience, abnormal phenomena are always maintained by a device somewhere in the sea. As long as the device is destroyed, the problem will naturally be solved. Now that we are here, it is necessary to the gravity device in the sea area has been solved, Anshan said to everyone. In this case, let's keep the battle formation and prepare to go, Enterprise said. Clear. After everyone marched in the sea for a while, Belfast suddenly stopped and raised his hands. Everyone, there is a situation, Belfast said quickly. Sure enough, on the right front, on the side of the red stone wall, a siren fleet slowly appeared. I didn't expect there to be mass-produced models in such a strange sea area, Chang Chun said unexpectedly. As long as there are sirens on the opposite side, then everything is possible, King George V said, but this is the best. Now we are adapting to the gravity of the sea area, and the mass-produced sirens have appeared. Let's use them first. Shoot the watch straight and try to get familiar with the feeling of fighting in this abnormal area. Maybe what's waiting for us not far away will be a big battle, so there's nothing wrong with being prepared in advance. Clear. All the ship girls who relied on naval guns to attack immediately nodded, and then began to calibrate the firing tables of the mass-produced sirens that appeared in front of them. Although everyone quickly cleared out the mass-produced group of sirens on the opposite side, there were more than twice as many as before. Tisk, long distance is more difficult. The timing of this gravity change is a bit weird. Sometimes it lasts for a long time, sometimes it lasts for a short time. If you fire the gun during the transition of gravity change, it is very likely to miss. Therefore, everyone should try their best to get close to each other before attacking. This can improve the accuracy. If that doesn't work, you can only use hand weapons, said the Prince of Wales. Haha, I don't mind this. After all, as a knight, the sword in my hand is an important means of attack. But when doing this, don't let the commander see it, otherwise he will worry about our distance. The siren's target was too close and caused unnecessary damage, King George V laughed. Didn't you tell Qin Ge that the weapons in your hands are an extension of your ship's equipment? And even the cannonballs are not as sharp as the weapons in your hands, Mikasa said a little strangely. At this time, Guanghui smiled and said, Commander, he knows, but every time he sees a destroyer that can kill the siren with the weapons in his hand, his eyelids jump. Especially when the fire of the explosion engulfs them, they are always worried. Will you be harmed by the explosion? Therefore, his request to us is to use the weapons in our hands as little as possible, improve our firepower, and use artillery shells to deal with the enemy. Haha, I can see that Qin Ge cares about you very much, the Prince of Wales smiled. Although these concerns seem unnecessary, who can refuse? So where the commander can see, we basically use artillery shells to kill the enemy. But when we go on a mission, we can let ourselves go javelin, he said with a smile. At this time, Belfast, who was at the front, suddenly interrupted everyone's laughter. Everyone, although interrupting your conversation is not what a maid should do. However, another humanoid siren appeared in front of us on the left, a type we have never seen before. After listening to Belfast's words, everyone turned their heads and looked in the direction she said. I saw a humanoid siren with grey hair and dark skin standing there. Her arms are two huge blue arms, and there is a ship suit surrounding her behind. The whole person looks extraordinary. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 671. Attack. Without saying a word, everyone immediately began to attack the unknown siren. But something shocking happened. Facing the fire from everyone, the siren stood motionless. What's going on? A strong siren that can't fight back. Is the command abnormal due to the gravity in the sea area? The monarch looked at the siren in front of him and said with some surprise. Yes, is this the siren's latest target ship? Mikasa asked doubtfully. Enterprise shook his head violently at this time. No, maybe you can't see it clearly from where you are standing, but my carrier-based aircraft can see it clearly in the sky. The shells you just fired actually didn't touch the siren's armor at all. Ah! How could such a thing be possible? Is it because of the gravity area that I hit it crookedly? The monarch asked somewhat unconfidently. No, even in the sea with abnormal gravity, your shot just now was very accurate. What happened was simply that your shell disappeared before it hit her armor. Enterprise quickly explained. I don't understand, Mikasa said doubtfully. I don't quite understand it, but this situation has happened once before, that is when we met the two arbiters in the Siren stronghold. The cannonballs fired by New Jersey at that time did not even touch the Siren and were destroyed. Therefore, this unknown Siren is very likely. When the company said this, he did not continue, but his tone became excited. Quickly retreat, evacuate the sea area. This time, no one responded. Instead, they quickly turned their rear wings into forwards in a tacit understanding. Everyone speeded up and retreated towards the outskirts of the sea area. Humph. Looking at the company and others who were quickly trying to evacuate in front of him, the gray-haired siren snorted, and then started to move. Her speed was neither fast nor slow, just hanging behind the company and others to ensure that they were within her sight. She is following us at a very constant speed, basically the speed we are traveling at, and she has no intention of attacking me. Mikasa looked at the arbiter behind her and said, So, is this what you call an arbiter? Yes, this is most likely the arbiter that the commander mentioned in the information he received from another Helena, Strenkus, who represents power, Guanghui said solemnly. Another Helena? Represents strength. The Prince of Wales and others were very confused for a moment. This is a long story, but you just need to remember that there are many ship girls from other worlds and sirens like arbiters in this world. The world has become very dangerous now. Even the awakened ship girls are just like ordinary ship girls compared to them. I believe you have already experienced this sense of oppression from the agent, said King George V on the side. By the way, Enterprise, I remembered this. Didn't the commander give you a coat of arms? I think it's time to use it, Guanghui said quickly. Enterprise hesitated for a moment, then took it out from the ship's installation space, and everyone's eyes immediately focused on Enterprise's hands. The mark was completely black, with a flame-like pattern engraved on one side. But surprisingly, the mark was emitting a black-gold light at this moment. Hey, why does it emit light? King George V said a little strangely at this moment because he had seen this mark before. The company also seemed to shake its head. I don't know, it looked like this when I took it out. Could it be related to the arbiter? Guanghui shook his head. We know very little information about both of their forces, and we have not even seen the Helena the commander mentioned. So it is possible that something unexplainable is happening now. Indeed, if you hadn't mentioned it, we probably wouldn't even know the name of the arbitration agency, the Prince of Wales said with some regret. Then activate it quickly, the monarch said quickly, and what's even more troublesome now is that she has been following us like this. Are we going to lead her to the commander? Everyone was silent for a moment. If Arbiter Strenkus was led to Chin-Ge, although he could get support from the fleet, it would also add a lot of uncertainty. But if they are not lured away, as long as the arbiter stir loses his pants, but with the strength of the few of them, they cannot resist for long, then it means that their power will be divided and eaten. Such a dilemma not only makes it difficult for the company, but also makes it difficult for others. But at this time, Guanghui smiled, haha, it seems Zhenhai is right. Sure enough, such a scene has occurred now. Zhenhai, King George V on the side asked doubtfully. Yes, Guanghui said, when I was chatting with Zhenhai and the commander before, Zhenhai had done calculations in this area. Her understanding of people's hearts is very powerful. She said that if the fleet is in a dispersed state, when the group of people who are not following the commander are in danger, they will definitely want to lead the danger to other places, so that the fleet where the commander is located can detect the crisis and take action on their own. Save. If the commander's fleet is in danger, then other fleets will definitely rush over to support each other regardless of the situation. This is our responsibility as ship girls. At least the commander cannot be threatened before we fall, Enterprise replied. But Enterprise, do you know what the commander's answer was at that time? Guanghui said. What? Enterprise asked strangely. He said that you must always remain rational on the battlefield and never be emotional. If you really encounter such a situation, then the best choice is to quickly gather and form a powerful combat force. And when choosing support, you must ensure that the fleet you are in has no other concerns before providing support. Guanghui said. So, what you are saying is that we will lead the arbiter to the location of the fleet now, Enterprise said. Yes, this is the best choice we can make now. If we are still hesitant now, we will be very passive then, Guanghui said. Having said this, the company is naturally very clear. She took a deep look at the light, and a ball of blue energy appeared on her hand in the early stage, instantly activating the flame badge. The flame badge turned into a black gold flame and began to burn in the company's hands. But holding this flame, the Enterprise could not feel the slightest heat, but felt a little cold. But the current situation is not the time to surprise her. The badge has been activated, the arbiter has appeared, and the war is about to break out. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 672. As the black gold flames on his hands gradually disappeared, the company could feel that a special signal wave had been emitted. But this special signal was only felt because she was standing so close. Normally, she would not be able to notice the signal at all. Now, the beacon has been activated, but the corresponding reinforcements will not arrive so soon. This period of time is still very important to them. Moreover, these arbiters are so powerful, and their soul-stirring power has been experienced by companies and others. If the reinforcements that come are not as powerful as the arbiter, they will still be in a tough fight, and it will also affect others. Originally, the company did not plan to activate this badge because she took these reasons into consideration, but Guanghui's persistence made her shaken. While thinking, Aurora, who was suddenly in front, said in surprise, "Everyone, look around, we have now passed through the previous gravity C area, but this gravity is still there." Everyone looked around and found that the situation next to them was exactly as Aurora said. Everyone had moved to the place where they entered the gravity C before, but the gravity still existed. What on earth is going on? Could it be that the sirens have expanded the scope of the gravity C while we were not paying attention? The Prince of Wales asked doubtfully. No, I think it has something to do with the person behind us. Strankus, the major arcana card, represents power. I feel that maybe there is no so-called siren central control at all. The reason why the sea area is it became like this entirely because of that arbiter, King George V said, shaking his head. Power, gravity, No wonder the shells I just saw you fired from the carrier-based aircraft all disappeared strangely, Enterprise said with a look of surprise. Tisk, but I know that these are of no use at the moment. The problem is that we can't cause any substantial damage to her now, and we are still in such a gravity sea area. If we don't adapt, our combat effectiveness will be greatly reduced, the monarch said unwillingly. But from another perspective, this is also a good thing. Due to the interference of gravity, the communication signal in this area has been lost. Didn't you release the carrier-based aircraft to notify the fleet before? Such a large-scale buffer can also allow them to be prepared, so as not to suddenly enter the gravity sea and lose their combat effectiveness. Mikasa said with a smile. Enterprise nodded, then looked in the direction of the original fleet. I hope they can adapt as soon as possible. On the other side, everyone in the fleet was gathering at this time, because the Enterprise's carrier-based aircraft had just flown over the fleet and displayed a special symbol. This symbol is used to communicate between ship girls, and the symbol displayed by the company is the most urgent. As the flagship, New Jersey quickly connected to the communication on the command ship after seeing the symbol. Commander, the company has just sent a carrier-based aircraft to bring a signal. Something terrible seems to have appeared in the gravity sea area, that Independent said before. According to the level, it should be that the Arbiter is there. Commander, shall we go there for rescue now? Hearing New Jersey's words, although Brother Chin had been mentally prepared for the appearance of the Arbiter before, he still couldn't help but feel nervous when he suddenly heard such news. But his duty as a commander told him that now was not the time to worry. So he quickly calmed down his panic and spoke quickly into the communicator. New Jersey, how is the current supply situation of the fleet? Report to the commander, the fleet supplies have been completed and everyone is waiting for orders, New Jersey said quickly. Understood. Shinji paused. The Arbiter is also our target this time. Since the company has encountered them now, we should quickly go to the target sea area to provide support, and we must not allow anyone to leave our fleet alone. Fight hard. Understood. New Jersey paused. Commander, this battle is very dangerous, otherwise you will stay in the sea area and wait for us. I will leave a team of ship girls by your side to protect you, and the rest will go with me to rescue the company and them. Why are you saying these stupid things now? I am your commander. I am not someone who needs your protection, but someone who fights alongside you. If I am not by your side in such a battle, then I am still. Does he count as your commander? Shinji said. So, let's go, they are still waiting for us. Faced with Shinji's words, New Jersey was silent for a moment, then smiled and said, I understand. Soon, the voice of New Jersey ordering an attack came from the public channel of the communicator. Shinji breathed a sigh of relief and put down the communicator in his hand. Haha, then Commander, you will need to sail the boat yourself for the rest of the journey. It's time for me to return to the team at this time. Genhai walked forward with a smile and said to Shinji. Shinji naturally understood what Genhai meant. This was also the agreement he had made with Genhai before, so he nodded. Then I won't stop you. Always pay attention to your own safety. I know, I want to keep this useful body to serve the commander. Genhai smiled slightly, then left the command ship and glided towards the fleet in the distance. Shinji felt a little heavy when he saw this scene, but this is the fact now. So he walked to the control console and started to drive the ship, following the footsteps of the ship girl, towards the target sea area. However, after driving for a short time, the ship girl at the front felt something unusual. Report, anomalies have been detected in the sea ahead. The gravity here seems to be very unstable. Baltimore, the Pioneer, reported to New Jersey. Gravity is unstable. New Jersey suddenly thought of the gravity sea area that Zilly had mentioned before, so he turned to look at Zilly and said in the communicator. Independence, is the gravity sea area you detected before is here in front of us? Independent immediately shook his head and replied, no, the gravity C area I detected before is not so close to us, it is relatively far away. Then why did Baltimore just report that it encountered a gravity C area in front of our fleet? Could it be said that the siren expanded the influence of the gravity C area? New Jersey asked. It should be very possible, or it may be related to the current situation that the company is encountering, Independent said. Understood. New Jersey nodded and connected to Baltimore's communicator. Baltimore, maintain this speed into the gravity C and adapt to it as soon as possible. I think our next battle is very likely to happen here. Receive. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 673. The sea area here is very strange. When traveling, my body feels heavy and light. You'd better be careful after entering the sea. New Jersey really felt the pressure on his body. Even John Meow, who was lying on his shoulder, was affected and seemed to have lost some strength. Understood, everyone responded. Following closely behind the fleet, Qin Ji also entered the sea. A force hit him and he couldn't help but hold onto the console in front of him. My body feels very heavy and my breathing is a little short. Is this caused by the increase in gravity? Feeling the changes in his body, Qin Ji said to himself. But not long after he finished speaking, he felt that his whole body became lighter again, as if he could jump very high with just one jump. Gravity is disordered. Sure enough, this sea area is just like what New Jersey reported before. If the gun is fired under such gravity conditions, it will be accurate. Gee, these siren technologies are really a headache. However, if such technology can be obtained, subsequent training will be improved to a certain extent. Thinking of this, Qin Ji couldn't help but shook his head and pushed these distracting thoughts out of his mind. Now is really not the time to think about these things. The battle in front of us is what we should focus on. Just as Qin Ji was trying to adapt to the gravity of the sea area, the ship girls had almost adapted, and the released carrier aircraft had also discovered several people from the company who were retreating. Report, found the company's team, they are followed by an unidentified siren humanoid unit. The probability is the Arbiter, the Centaur reported to New Jersey, but the communicator was filled with noisy voices. It seems that even if the distance is relatively close, there will still be interference when using the communicator. Copy that. Are the two sides fighting? New Jersey quickly replied and asked. No, the current situation is that the company's team is retreating, and the Arbiter is chasing behind, but there is no exchange of fire, Centaur said. Isn't chasing without exchanging fire? New Jersey frowned. Because it was now wartime, all fleet channels were activated, which meant that not only New Jersey, but others also received this report. Zhenhai in the distance squinted his eyes and couldn't help but have some thoughts in his heart. Even though the people in the company are awakened ship girls, everyone is aware of the Arbiter's suppression of them. But now that she was just following him at such a close distance without firing, it reminded her of an animal, that is, a cat. Cats have a very interesting behavior, that is, when catching mice, they always tease the mouse to despair before killing it. Now to the Arbiter, they are just mice in the palm of his hand, and they can solve the problem whenever he wants. And now the Arbiter's behavior is obviously to tease them and make them feel the final despair. However, Zhenhai raised his head and looked into the distance. Even the mouse in the palm of your hand will jump up and bite you when cornered, Arbiter. Just as Zhenhai was thinking, New Jersey's words appeared in the communicator. Everyone is ready for battle. We are getting closer to the position of the corporate team and are ready to fight at any time. Clear. As everyone's voices rang through the communicator, Qin Ji on the command ship clearly felt an aura of killing. He sighed as he looked ahead, and suddenly a sense of frustration rose in his heart. His ability to support this battle was too limited. At this time, a voice sounded from behind him. Haha, what a spectacular scene. I wonder why Commander Qin Ji sighed. Qin Ji's hair suddenly stood up and he quickly looked back. only to see a familiar figure appearing in front of him. "It's you, Helena." The dark blue hair in front of her and the face that is always smiling are not the Helena Qin-Ji met on the Donghuang front line. Who else could it be? "Commander Qin-Ji, it seems you are surprised to see me," Helena said with a smile, "but you should believe me this time, right?" Qin-Ji nodded. He knew what Helena meant, so he said, "Yes, there is indeed an arbiter here, so can you help us? They should also be your enemies, right?" "Enemies," Helena shook her head, "they can't be said to be our enemies, they are just a group of guys who are in the way." "In that case, why did you give me that badge then?" Qin-Ji asked with some confusion. "Although to us they are just a group of troublesome guys, some of us still can't bear to see those guys in front of us," Helena smiled. "Is it a ship girl like the Nizana we met before?" Qin-Ji asked. "Haha, although Nizana belongs to us, I am not familiar with her. However, it is undeniable that her combat power is indeed relatively strong, but it is still difficult to deal with the strengths in front of her," Helena smiled. "Also, let me remind you that ship girl is just the name of your world. In the main world, we are called ships." "Ship?" Qin-Ji was stunned for a moment. This was the second time he heard this title from Helena's mouth. "What's the difference between a ship and a ship girl?" Qin-Ji said to Helena. "Of course there is a difference," Helena said without hesitation. "Did Commander Qin-Ji search for some strange files in the sea before?" "Yes," Qin-Ji nodded. "What do those files have to do with the ship and the ship's wife?" "I can tell you that your guess is correct. Those files were placed there intentionally by Antix. But those records are true, and they are records about the original world where our ship was born. Even though I'm not from that world is related to all the worlds where we have ships. Just like a towering tree, the world we live in is the buds or leaves on this big tree, and that world is the backbone and foundation of this big tree." Helena smiled. Qin-Ji frowned. "Since you know so much in detail, why don't you just tell me the relevant history of that world?" "Haha, Commander Qin-Ji, do you still remember what I told you before? Sometimes knowing too much is not a good thing. When you know too much and don't have the strength to respond accordingly, you will feel helpless and you will feel insignificant. I've had enough of feeling this way, so I don't want you to experience it again. Although they are not dealing with antiques, I think it is more reasonable for them to do this now and let you understand the world step by step. That's why I didn't interfere with your search for the archives." Helena looked at Qin-Ji and smiled.